Okay, so today we'll talk about one very important aspect of our behavior, which is habits. Now, habits are very, very effective in the sense that it has a very long lasting effect on our life because this is what we repeatedly do almost every day. If we are a smoker and we are smoking every day, even if the effect of one cigarette is very less, the cumulative effect of all the cigarettes we have smoked all our life is devastating, which can lead up to lung cancer or problem with the lungs and things like that. Similarly, if we have been exercising every day, the cumulative effect of that exercise put together all our life can be very, very high. It can increase our longevity, it can increase our fitness level, it can increase our immunity, and so on. Because it is repeated every day, the effect of our habits, good or bad, is very, very high. And sometimes we see that people who otherwise are great potential have lot of a very big problem in life because of one bad habit. So we see are very promising students in IIT, in IIMs, in medical colleges, in many other fields who otherwise has great potential, very talented people, almost genius, has spoiled like their life because one bad habit like alcoholism or eating something like pan parag, or who can't control their anger, or who have a habit of thinking negative to a great extent and therefore getting a bouts of depression, and so on and so forth. We'll see many such habits which are big damaging to our otherwise very promising and potential life. And we'll also, second part of the presentation, we'll see how we can effectively replace our bad habits by good habits. And we'll also see that there's a bonus in doing that because the side effect of this exercise of replacing bad habits to good habits will enhance your self-esteem, self-confidence, and your that uh, belief that you can make things happen and you can change anything you want to do. This is a big bonus because our success in life depends upon our self-esteem and our ability to take risk or have courage, which only happens when we have a very high level of self-esteem. And this is one of the possible method of increasing our self-esteem. And we'll see how we can use this activity, and we can attempt this with very, very small exercise. And we'll see that this exercise, which is replacing a very small, easily changeable habits into a bad habit into a good habit. Now, what we repeatedly do becomes our comfort zone because this is what we are doing every day, whether it's eating habit, whether it is doing certain things, getting up in the morning, they become our comfort zone because we are doing it every day, and they ultimately become ingrained in us as a habit. They become our reflexive action. Even without knowing, we do it, and we don't even realize that we have this good or bad habit. I can give you an example. There are a lot of people who are born hearing languages which has a lot of abuses. You'll see people from Haryana or North India, their language has a lot of abusive words, and they are growing up listening to that, and when they use it, they don't even realize that they are using abuses unless somebody tells them. Yeah? And then they think it's a normal, there's nothing wrong in it. But then that is sometimes is upsetting people and annoying people, but they don't realize and they don't want to accept. Most of the time, we will adopt practices and we'll keep on doing it because they had been. We are seeing such things done in our, by our parents, by people surrounding us, and therefore we adopt and we copy those practices, and because they bring comfort and security, because we see that people, everybody is doing it, so therefore it should be harmless, or it should be all right, and therefore we adopt these practices, and they subsequently gets ingrained in our uh, day-to-day life as habits. Now they become our unconscious actions. We, as I said, that we don't even realize we have these bad habits. uh, we keep on offending people, but we don't realize. Now, all habits are not essentially good, as we said. Many habits has a very harmful effects on our life, on our performance, on our relationship, on our reputation. As smoking, drinking, taking drugs, and which can ruin our life. Uh, they cause health problems. They cause monetary problems. They cause reputation problem. But still, we are so ingrained in those habits that we don't want to change. Now, there are other behavioral bad habits like overeating, not being punctual, littering, getting provoked easily, provoking others to act nastily, procrastination, that means putting off things. These are all habits. Because we keep on doing it, we feel comfortable in repeating them also in future, knowing fully well their harmful effects. Now, equally negative habits are thinking negatively, using a brash language, gossiping, provoking others, blaming others for all wrongs, seeing things which are not right, you know, uh, not appreciating people, but blaming people, finding faults in people. They are all habits. Now, once repeated bad habits get ingrained, and we lose the desire to change, because they become our comfort zone and we think it's all right. There's no need to change. But we can always change. Yeah. And uh, even when we have failed many times, we still can change. You see, nothing works in the first attempt. See, if we want to break a door, maybe our first kick will make it possible. But that doesn't mean that the first kick was useless. The first kick has made the door a little weak, and maybe the 50th kick will make us break it. With every kick, the door is becoming weaker, and our kicks are becoming effective. And therefore, on the 50th kick, it has broken. It doesn't mean that the 49 kicks before that, which has not led to breaking, has been ineffective. It has actually made the door weaker and weaker and weaker, so that the 50th kick worked. Likewise, when we want to change our bad habits, even if we have 20, 30 attempts not succeeding, doesn't mean that those attempts were useless. Those attempts have increased or strengthened our resolve and weakened the habit. And therefore, we should, as long as we don't give up changing to change the habit, we are still have all the possibility of succeeding, even the attempt so far has not been success. Now, let's aim to change our action and habits gradually. Don't expect that it will happen overnight. It doesn't happen. It will not happen. You will go back. Suppose you want to lose weight and you want to start eating healthy food. It is not that you will not eat unhealthy food in the meanwhile. You will eat, but keep your results on. Keep on emphasizing and keep on eating healthy food. You will see that slowly you will start liking the healthy food more than the unhealthy food, and gradual change will come. And one day you will be able to give up the unhealthy food totally and eat only healthy food, and you will become fitter, or you will achieve your goal of losing weight or whatever you want to do. So let's not become disappointed and dissatisfied with the small steps toward the goal. The longest journey in life starts with one small step. Yeah. So therefore, we should keep the resolve on and try to enjoy the journey, even if we are not able to achieve our goal. Yeah. See, when we started to walk or learn to walk when we were child, we had fallen many times, and the initial 100 attempts has not made us a successful independent walker. But like a child, we had not given the resolve. We had fallen, but again got up, again tried to attempt. The same kind of resolve, and accepting that fact that I will not succeed in the first attempt, will keep us on towards a goal and attempt, and we'll one day succeed. Now, one very good way of making the whole journey of change enjoyable and our resolve on is to enjoy the whole attempt of change. You see, unless we have a replacement which is as interesting or more interesting than what we are giving up, we'll not be able to stick to our resolve to change. For instance, if you want to exercise or go on exercise early in the morning for a walk, we have to somehow find some incentive or some enjoyment element in that walk or exercise. That can be listening to music while you are on the treadmill, or that can be going for a walk with friends where you can enjoy their company, enjoy the discussion you can have while you are walking, and all that. Unless we find some interesting thing, interest in the whole thing, it's likely that we'll give up because of boredom, because we are not comfortable. See, I had tried to change to eat healthy food. The only way I could find was that the food I enjoy doing, which is cooked with a lot of fat or whether there's a lot of sugar, I have replaced those sugar with, let's say, a replacement of sugar which is healthy, which is stevia, or try to make those food with air fryer instead of fat fryer. If I'm hooked to watching TV, if I stop watching TV totally, I'll feel very bored and I'll not be able to, give up easily. But suppose I replace the watching of TV with some interesting uh, web series or some interesting inspirational films, which has got a lot of, learning potential. I will stick to my program of not watching trash, but watching something which is a better use of my time. Now, also in this, we should get a support of our peer group. You see, most of the time, if we really want to make a change, the best way to make the change is to join a group where the common goal of all the members of the group is to bring that change in their life. There are many such successful groups which has worked wonders. One is Alcoholic Anonymous. They have helped some billion people to give up drinking. Now, what they do is they actually get hold of people who normally find drinking as the only way to unwind themselves. So these are the people who go to pub after the work, where they have a couple of drinks, where they meet some friends, they have some fun talk, they play pool, or they do certain things which will make them unwind, forget, reduce their tension and stress. Now, if you suddenly tell them not to go to pub, I mean, unless they have got something else to do which is as distressful, they'll not be able to keep on their path. So, what Alcoholic Anonymous has done, they created pubs who have everything which the pub was offering, minus the alcoholic drinks. They were offering very exotic non-alcoholic drinks, and the surroundings were the same. So you are not missing out on anything. You are having the same thing which came along with your drinking habit, minus the alcohol, and slowly you are asked to you give up the alcoholic drink in place of non-alcoholic drink. Now, this is what you can always do when we have friend circle who has common goal. We can decide to meet sometime together, and each one will support the other for keeping on goal, discuss the problem, and therefore we will always be on the track. Now, if you have several bad habits, let's not open all the fronts. Let us pick up the easiest thing to change, because we have to actually build our confidence and our resolve and our self-esteem to be able to handle the most difficult one at the end. So suppose you have a habit of not coming on time and you want to be now always on time, you want to become punctual. I think that is one of the most easy thing to do. You decide that you will always reach your destined place 10 minutes earlier than the plan. So you can then pick up one small, which is easiest to change, and work on that. Once you are able to do that, you will see that your self-esteem will go up. You will have a lot of confidence and respect increasing for yourself. Once you have that respect and confidence increased, you are now mentally prepared to tackle a bigger challenge, which is a little more difficult habit to change. Yeah. So therefore, start with the easiest habit to change and then go up in the value chain. So giving up is most of the time is difficult. Let's adopt a life cycle where the existing bad habit has no role to play. Let's adopt something which is a replacement of our bad habit, which in fact brings everything except the bad part of that bad habit. Everything else can remain the same. For instance, see, when I decided to lose weight, I thought that I will not drink tea or coffee or any beverage with sugar. So I started using stevia in some sweet drinks and no sugar. I started drinking sugar free, without that sugar free thing, absolutely sugar free tea and coffee. And today I have developed a taste that I can't even drink a coffee or tea which has got even 1 grain of sugar. So it's a question of developing the taste. Yeah. Now, there are a lot of methods which has been effectively used for giving up smoking. You see, why smoking becomes a habit and it becomes, it is considered to be de-stressing, or it is helping us to get rid of our tension, is that when we smoke, we have to take a deep breath. Yeah, you can't smoke without taking a deep breath. And this deep breathy breathing de-stresses you, because the deep breathing exercise has been used for de-stressing for thousands of years. Now it is not the cigarette, it is deep breathing which de-stresses you. So people who wanted to give up smoking, when they used to have a strong desire to have cigarette, it was because it was time when some stress or some tension was bothering them. So they were asked to sit down and do some deep breathing exercise, and thereafter they were offered to have cigarettes if they still needed it. And most of the time they found that after doing this deep breathing exercise, their desire to smoke cigarette has gone. So we have to similarly find some good alternative when we are giving up one of our bad habits, and the bad habits should be serving some of our biological or mental needs. So if we find something else which meets that biological or medical or mental needs, we will find that we will be able to get rid of that bad habit very easily. Unless we find that replacement, it will be very difficult to get rid of that bad habit. Similarly, if we have free time, because uh, we were earlier doing something which was basically wasting, like playing cards or doing something which is basically a waste of time. If we can develop a habit of reading books or develop a desire to reading books, and it can be easily done, you see, because why we don't get into habit of reading books is because we really don't know which book to start, because who will grip. I can tell you that I have been able to inspire a lot of students who had never read any book other than their textbook. In the 20 years of their life, they started becoming voracious readers, because I handed over to them a list of books which are so gripping that if you read first 5-6 pages, you will not be able to give up that book. You will land up completing that book, and once you have completed some 6-7 such books, you get into habit of reading books like you get into habit of doing anything else. Same thing goes for getting up early or going up for walk, doing some exercise, doing some yoga, doing some meditation. It's a question of you're forcing yourself to do these things for at least 7 or 8 days. or 10 days maximum. And after that, if you don't do it, you start missing them and you'll start feeling like doing them, and you will be able to continue doing it, and the thing will become your habit. These are some of the things which you can do. Meditation camp, you can join. Meditation camp, you are forced to actually do meditation because you are there with group of people having the same objective of learning meditation. And if you are already forced to do meditation for 7 days or 10 days, because that's the duration of the camp, once you come out of the camp and don't give up, the chances are you will get into the habit of doing those meditation or exercise or yoga. Now, unless we find something very food to eat which is also healthy, it is very difficult to give up eating junk food. So we have to actually find something equally tasty like the junk food, which is healthy, to replace those junk food with tasty food, which is healthy. Now, we can also do some mental conditioning to be able to be on the track of bringing about this change. Now, what is the things we can do to condition our mind? First is that we must focus on not what we are giving up, but focus on what we are going to gain. Yeah, this is so that gain which we are going to have once we achieve this change can bring that desire, strong desire to bring about this change. Suppose I want to lose a weight. I should imagine myself how handsome, fit, attractive I will look once I have lost that weight. And if you have got some picture, old picture of yours where you've already were thin and all that, you can put it on so that that image, that visual image is always in front of you, which will keep a very strong desire in you to change. Now that strong desire is required to be on the track. And then second is the belief that this change is possible. If I was once looked like this, it is also possible that this again I'll look like that. Yeah, I am the one who will bring that change, and I have that tenacity, or I have that strong desire to bring about this change. And then third is expect that change to happen. Expect, even if small incremental success is happening, please congratulate yourself, please celebrate that small success so that you are always on the track. In case of weight loss, you can always go on the scale, weighing scale, and see maybe you have lost 100 grams. Now 100 grams is a great achievement. You will be able to lost. So now you can enjoy, and you see that if you have lost 100 grams today, over a period of let's say 60 days or 100 days, you will probably lose 10 kgs. So therefore, that is an incentive to be on track. Let's also visualize what would happen when the change happens. You know, when we are thinking something negative, we can always replace that negative thought with something which is positive, which means that what will happen, how people will take me, respect me, celebrate my success, or congratulate me when I've achieved this goal. This will keep me on the track. So suppose we want to lose weight, let's imagine how happy and confident we'll be and how others will react positively when we have achieved our goal. Now, sometime in the meditation, which we have given you, that meditation disc, you can always see or imagine yourself your ultimate achievement, which is that when you have lost your weight, or when you have got rid of some bad habit, or when you have done extremely well in your exams, or when you have done something great to succeed. If you imagine in your meditation, or at least when you are in your alpha stage, when you are half asleep, half awake, in those moments when your subconscious mind and conscious mind is both active, if you imagine yourself having achieved your goal of change of this habit and its result, the chances are your subconscious mind will always help you to achieve that goal. Now, power of positive thinking. Power of positive thinking is like focusing on my achievement and not focusing on my loss or my what I'm giving up. And let's celebrate, as I said, even smallest achievement, even the small success in my attempt should be celebrated, and I must share this with my friends so that they also keep me encouraging to be on track. Now, what happens that when you have achieved this small objective of changing your bad habit with good, and slowly you are making a change, you will see that your own self-esteem will keep on going up. You will be able to attempt things earlier you were not willing to attempt because you were scared. You will be able to overcome your fear. You will be able to generate that courage most of the time you didn't have because of your increase in self esteem. When your self esteem goes up, you become more courageous, you become less fearful, and therefore you will be able to do things you otherwise not willing to do because you were scared of failure. This is the bonus when you try to replace a bad habit with a good one and your self esteem goes up in the process. This is the bonus which you will get, and you will see that this bonus will be applicable or beneficial in all other areas which is now not connected with this replacement of bad habit by good habit. Even other areas will find that you are becoming more successful, more happy, more confident, more courageous. What we repeatedly do becomes not only a habit but a lifestyle change. It is actually a life changing because one after the other, when you keep on replacing your bad habits by good habits, you are changing your life for better. And therefore, excellence is not an act, single act, but a habit. Because for achieving excellence in life, you have to continuously improve yourself by replacing bad habits by good habits. So I think that you should today pick up, go back home. You see, normally what we do is this presentation is given after all the participants come and narrate their weaknesses or narrate some of their bad habits which they want to change. Many of students have come and told me that, sir, I have got very big problem with my anger. I can't manage, I can't control my anger. Some people come and tell me that they have problem with their time schedule, they can't come on time, they are always late because they are habitual late comers. Some people have problem with their weight, some people have a problem with their fear, they always think negative, they always think the worst possible scenario whenever something is happening which is not according to their plan, and so on. Now these people, I'll suggest, pick up one habit which you want to change, which you think is the easiest to change from today, and start working on that. I can tell you, once you are able to overcome that bad habit by a good one or get rid of that bad habit, the amount of joy of that victory, the amount of joy of that winning that bad habit will be so much that it will be worth all the efforts you will put. And you'll see that your own respect, your own self-esteem will go up. And now you are more than willing to take up a bigger challenge. You will be able to not only take bigger challenge of replacing another bad habit by good one, but you will be able to take up things otherwise in the past you were scared of taking up. You were not able to attend, like somebody asked you to come and give a public speech, or you were scared. Somebody asked you to do certain things or take some responsibility or take some post, you were scared. Once your self-esteem, your whole perception will change. You will be more than willing to take up these risky jobs, which earlier you thought was risky, but now you're thinking that you'll be able to handle these things, and this will open so many doors for you to become a great success. Because you see, success comes when we are more than willing to take up responsibility, cash on opportunities which are opening up. If we don't cash, if we don't act when the opportunities are offered to us, we'll not succeed. And most of the time, we don't take those opportunities and those challenges because we are scared of failure, or scared because we don't have confidence in ourselves. This is the best way to build that confidence, build that self-esteem. Thank you so much. Now, if you have any questions, please, you can ask. Can somebody unmute and talk? Okay, then. Great.